राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। Today I am doing the song of नारायण महाराज, जो सीनियर डिवोटी वैष्णव है, उनका एक सॉन्ग है, बहुत अच्छा है, वो करती हूँ। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी, वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। मोर मुकुट मकराकृत कुंडल, गले वैजयंती माला। मोर मुकुट मकराकृत कुंडल, गले वैजयंती माला। चरणन नुपुर रसाल, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। सुंदर वदन कमल दल लोचन, बाकी चितवन हारी। सुंदर वदन कमल दल लोचन, बाकी चितवन हारी। मोहन वंशी बिहारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। वृंदावन में धेनु चरावे, वृंदावन में धेनु चरावे, गोपी जन मनहारी। श्री गोवर्धन धारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। राधा कृष्ण मिले अब दो, गौरा रूप अवतारी। राधा कृष्ण मिले अब दो, गौरा रूप अवतारी। कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। तुम बिन मेरे और न कोई, नाम रूप अवतारी। तुम बिन मेरे और न कोई, नाम रूप अवतारी। चरणन में बलिहारी, राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। नारायण बलिहारी, राधे श्याम 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 श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री राधे व्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम 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 श्याम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वृंदावन धाम की जय हो। सर्व गोप गोपांगनी जय हो। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। दंडवत प्रणाम टू ऑल डिवोटीज। दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी फॉर सो वंडरफुल। थैंक यू प्रभु।
Thank you very much, Raksha Mataji. So beautiful bhajan you sang. Really enjoyed. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my Dandavat pranams. Hari Bol. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान् पितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभुपाद। Now we pray to the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिशे नमः। O most magnificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You assume the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisance unto the six Goswamis, unto you. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangopangoster Parshadam Yagnahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedhasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly chant the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. नाना शास्त्र विचारणैक निपुणौ षडधर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यौ शरण्याकरौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना आनन्देन मत्तालिकौ Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugau Shri Gujiva Gopalakau. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Shri Govinda Mahadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Again, please accept my humble obeisances. All words Shri Prabhupada. Welcome back. So before we start today's lesson, lesson 14, I believe, now let's hear the recapping of the previous week's lesson. Haribol. Somebody's recapping.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Yes, Prabhu. My obeisances to all the devotees and Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Shripadaya Krishna Prashna Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvanacharya Shishimani Paschati Deshati. So today we are recapping lesson 13. As we know, lesson 13, which adhikarana is it? Anybody can say which adhikarana? Adhikarana number?
The Adhikarana number 1.2.11 and 12. The associate in the cave.
That is sutra number.
13.
That is sutra number. Adhikarana? 3. Yes.
13.
Adhikarana 3. Adhikarana 3. And what is the Adhikarana 3?
Associate in the cave is Brahman.
Yes.
हृदय में जो है हमारे वो हम.
Thank you. Yes, that's the one. So, how do I okay, so here there is Vishaya, there is Samshaya. Okay, what is the Vishaya? Vishaya is
the statement. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on, Prabhuji. Go on, please.
Yeah. So I think we are going back again. We discussed many times. So Vishay is the statement which we will be studying basically.
What is it over here? Is what is the cave referred to in this Adhikarana?
Yeah,
what is
the heart.
Cave?
Yeah,
Cave is referred to the heart.
most of the Upanishad or places mentioned, there are two entities in the heart, and that is how it starts. The two slokas will go ahead, 11 and 12.
Then what is the journey of the Jivatma compared to over here, and what is its goal? What is the journey compared to?
The journey is compared to chariot analogy.
Yes, very good.
Where intelligence is the rider, mind is the rail, and horses are the senses, whereas
Yes.
the object is the road. And it describes how to control the desire for liberation.
Okay.
But in
So
all
what
that,
is-
passenger is the passenger is the
Passenger
Atma.
is Atma.
That is important. We always forget, right? We give all that, but we have to understand what is the passenger there. That's important.
No, she told. Passenger is the soul.
Yeah.
Yes. Then let us see what is the goal, Mataji. What is the goal? You told all this, right?
Goal.
The relationship between the Jivatma and Brahman is told. Is told that the Jivatma and Brahman both exist in the cave of the heart.
No. What is the goal?
The
Now
goal is
Desire for
controlling the desire.
liberation.
yes.
Controlling the desire and going back
Desire
to
for
body.
liberation.
Control the desire for liberation.
Liberation.
Yes. So that is the goal. Goal is liberation. Okay, fine. Thank you. So we go to slide number 3. Slide number 3. Here what has happened is there is a doubt has come. What was the doubt? We saw in Samshaya, there was Samshaya, a doubt had come. According to Katha Upanishad, some doubt had come. What was that doubt?
They're saying that this companion may be intelligence or life breath.
Yes, that doubt had
how
come
it
that
can-
who is this companion? So they are talking about two, right? They are talking about two entities entering the heart. One entity everybody knows is Jivatma, okay. The Jivatma and its analogy given, its journey given, everything given. Now who is the second one who is going with the Jivatma? That is the doubt.
Correct.
Now so what is the doubt over here? Now the doubt has come whether that companion may be intelligence or life breath. Okay. So whether it is that or raising doubts about whether it can be supreme being, that is the doubt. Okay. According to the Katha Upanishad, what is the Katha Upanishad saying? It is saying that two entities are going inside the heart. Okay. So according to that, this companion could be intelligence or life breath. Then the doubt comes. Could it be the Supreme Lord? Okay. Now what is Purva Paksha saying? Let us see.
Purvapaksha is saying that when the Jivatma is enjoying the karma, then intelligence and life breath, they also participate in karma. It cannot be supreme being because it doesn't participate in karma.
Excellent. Very good, Mataji. Very understood the Siddhanta properly. Now, the question was, why is there a doubt that the companion of Jivatma is the Supreme Lord? That is the answer which Mataji gave. There was a doubt. Why is there a samshaya that it could not be the Supreme Lord? Because Supreme Lord does not participate in karma, and Jivatma. Yeah, that was the answer Mataji gave. Then, who could likely be the companions? That Mataji already told, Samta Mataji, that it could be life, air, or intelligence. Then why? Because
They participate in karma.
yes, because they participate in karma, which Mataji already told. Okay, very good. So let's go to the next. Here, what is the significance of the phrase Tat Darshana?
Yeah, it says that many places it is described, right? There are two entities in the heart. So darshana, that means it shows, right? They shows many literature, and it also talks about the first sutra talks about two entities, those exist, and the second sutra, I think that is the sun and
not second sutra. We are not talking now only.
you are not touching. Yes.
Yeah, we are touching the first sutra. The first sutra, what is confirmed by that? Tad Darshanat. Tad Darshanat means Vedic literature are telling. Darshanat means to show. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tad Darshanat, Vedic literatures are showing. What are they showing?
The
duality of
dualities
two
of
entities.
two.
Yeah, the duality of two entities. Okay, that is compared to shard and light method.
Okay, but two entities exactly.
One
That
is
is what
not
was the
affected
doubt
by
now.
material circuit. Yeah, one is where one is not affected at all by the life world.
That is okay, but you are saying that I understand. But what exactly is it pointing to? One is not affected, one is affected. What is it pointing to? We have a
Eternal.
samshaya.
That is Brahman.
Supreme personality of Godhead.
Brahman.
Yes, Brahman. Correct.
Brahman.
So
Is not affected.
yes, correct. So it is the Tad Darshanat means the the Vedic literatures are showing that, they're pointing to that second entity which is entering is the Supreme Lord. Okay,
Yeah, Supreme Lord.
that is the answer. Okay, then what does the analogy of Jivatma to shade and Paramatma to light, what is it conveying?
So that one of
Paramatma
the
is
Upanishad,
light and so go on, Prabhuji. Go
one
on,
of the
Prabhuji.
Upanishad talks about shade and light. So light is when there is a knowledge, the shade, the ignorance is not there. So it talks about two. One is supreme, another is depend on that.
Okay, Rajkumari Mataji would like to add to this?
Yes, one is light is that this is indicates supreme personality Godhead, and the shadow it indicates
Yeah,
Jivatma.
that I already told.
One is
That much.
unaffected with the material
One is
cycle,
unaffected. Yes,
Yes,
and
one is
one is
unaffected.
affected. One is
Jivatma,
experiencing. Jivatma is
Jivatma is
experiencing.
sorry,
Okay. Okay,
Jivatma is affected.
one person say,
Experiences,
okay.
and this supreme personality Godhead is untouched
Yes.
in karmas and sufferings.
Okay, what about the analogy of the parasol bearers? Parasol means everybody knows. What is parasol?
Chatra,
Who knows?
umbrella.
Umbrella. Very good. So, what is that analogy of the parasol bearers, umbrella bearers?
First,
Brahman is parasol, and he is protecting Atma, Jivatma.
Sorry, Mataji, can you say again?
Brahman is parasol means umbrella. He is protecting Jivatma.
Uh, is that the one? Anybody else?
एक्चुअली जो पिलर्स है उसका जो जिसके ऊपर स्टैंड करता है वो टेंट दैट इज जीवात्मा एंड दैट स्पोर्ट जिसका मिला हुआ है पिलर्स दैट इज परमात्मा सुप्रीम पावर गॉड
Was what was explained in the class? Is this correct? Charu Prabhuji can throw some light on this
नॉट श्योर माता जी
because this is a bit confusing, right? This is not what exactly is the meaning of parasol. See, one may
There
act,
was
both are recognized as a pair. So, what does that mean? One may act, one is, both are called as parasol bearers, but one may act like how there is one shloka in Kathopanishad. It is telling about pibantau. Pibantau means both are drinking,
Yeah.
but actually only one is drinking. The other one is a witness, right? So
Brahman
here
is
also,
drinking the truth.
ah,
Brahman is drinking the truth.
okay,
He is the
Mataji,
drinker.
let's talk about shade and light. Okay, shade means what? When you have hold a umbrella, okay, who is in the shade?
Shade is
shade is
Jivatma.
affected माता जी shade is affected and
Ah, correct,
the other the pillar the are not affected.
correct. That means the light is the Lord, Sun, okay,
Yes.
and Jivatma is in the shade, shade, right?
It
So
depends on
she, it depends. If he wants in the, he can be in the shade. He can be come out of the shade also. So he's coming in and out of shade. That is going in Maya, coming out of Maya. So the Lord is compared to the sun, and a shadow is compared to the Jivatma. All right. So, but
I think example
because,
is mother given a cloud and sun also, right? I don't
correct, cloud and sun. So cloud and sun means cloud. Can the cloud cover the sun?
know, but
No.
temporarily it
But
appears. Yes.
Temporarily. It
But
looks
no,
like it is covered.
it is no, not even temporarily. It doesn't even cover the sun. It only covers
Yeah.
our sight to the sun.
Vision, correct.
Our vision is covered, not that sun is covered, right?
Yes.
So is that clear, everybody? Charu Prabhu, would you like to add something to this? This is a
No,
very
you're doing pretty
important.
good. You're doing pretty good.
Madam, still I could not understand the parasol comparison.
Okay, the
Parasol
parasol
is
bearer.
it's like a carrier, you know. See, when something to be carried, 2 people or 4 people might be there, right? So here we are talking about 2 people. The carrier, what is carrying is the body, the soul, you know. So one is the soul, other is the Paramatman, Atman and Paramatman. So that is what parasol carrier here it means actually. According to my reading.
Oh,
Who is
okay,
the
okay.
carrier, Prabhuji? Who is the
Okay.
parasol?
Parasol, they both are carriers, but the real one, who really, the one is dependent on the one. Normally, there are two equivalent carriers might be there, right? But here it is not there. The human body, that is the soul, is there, and it looks like that he is carrying, but apparently soul himself is dependent on Paramatman. Atman is dependent on Paramatman. Paramatman gives even the consciousness that we learn is due to soul, symptomatic presence, the soul, but that also ultimately dependent on Paramatman. And we are going to learn today's class also something more about it.
Like
So
Kshetra and
Bira is
Kshetrajna, like that.
correct, right? It's looking at the body, right? Soul carries the body, but who carries the soul? The Paramatma carries that, right? So maybe that is what Charu Prabhu is saying.
Yes, but the body, is the maintenance of body, living
Yeah,
body, the living sense is due to the soul being present, right? But the soul
yeah,
is not the ultimate one.
correct.
Paramatman is the one. And as I'm telling you,
So,
today's next lesson is also continuing on that particular theme.
Next 12 gives a more clarity. Bring the role there. I know.
Yeah.
Next sloka. That's the 12 one.
Yes,
okay,
Prabhuji.
let's
Thank
see.
you.
Because here
So you
the
understand everybody what is a parasol carrier? Some,
parasol carrier is not
Yes,
umbrella
Prabhu.
carrier.
मतलब प्रभु जी जीवात्मा is always dependent on Paramatma.
yes, it's true.
Okay.
So the two carriers are here, but they are not equivalent. Normally we understand that's the equivalent, but here it is not.
Because
Yes, because
Mataji, Paramatma is giving upadrashta अनुमंता च
yeah,
ही
that is there.
अनुमति
That is
देते
his.
तभी वो हाँ
नहीं पर
But
वो नहीं ये
one way,
क्षेत्र
Mataji,
क्षेत्रज्ञ का ज्यादा ज्यादा
I think, yeah,
हाँ
क्षेत्र
looks
राइट
like.
क्षेत्रज्ञ
क्षेत्रज्ञ
क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ का क्या है कि क्षेत्र की जिसका भी क्षेत्र है वो उसको उसके बारे में सब मालूम है दैट ही नोज दैट सोल नोज एवरीथिंग अबाउट हिज क्षेत्र बट द
The
लॉर्ड
Lord,
नोज अबाउट एवरीबडी क्षेत्र
That too also
yes
इंक्लूडिंग
not perfectly,
इंक्लूडिंग दिस
yes
imperfectly. Soul
and even
knows his
the,
own body also imperfectly.
even if we
But
yes
take the
Paramatma knows
carry,
everyone's body perfectly.
yeah,
perfectly yeah
yeah,
so
That
we
even
the
if
know
we take
we
the,
don't
30
know
talks
how the
more.
thing is
Chapter
digesting we
13
don't
of
know
Bhagavad
how
Gita talks more in
chapter
details.
13 yes chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita yes
yes Mataji.
okay thank
We
you very
don't we
much
cannot see inside our body, we cannot see anything.
yes yes so we'll go to the next question slide number 6 visheshanat this visheshanat means distinctive qualities right visheshanat so now we are talking about the distinctive qualities between jivatma and paramatma so what are the qualitative differences between jivatma and paramatma
Jivatma is meditator, supreme, and that supreme Paramatma is the object of meditation, and Jivatma is dependent entity, and Paramatma is independent, and there are there are other factors also.
you have to tell
Um,
other factors anybody else would like to tell
Yes,
Jivatma is
one is
inside.
worshipable and one is worshipper. Jivatma is a worshipper and
and
here
then
Lord
Anu,
is
his,
a worshipper.
you can give a
Jivatma
lot of
limited and Paramatma is
yes
unlimited,
unlimited,
unlimited.
and
limited
Jivatma is
finite.
bonded with karmic bondage, whereas Paramatma is free from karmic bondage.
yes
Omnipotent, omniscient,
Wow.
omnipresent, all those things you can give
All
a
of
big
these.
Is
list there.
eating his
And say,
karma phala or
one is
Paramatma did
yes
untouched with his karma phala.
one is dependent one is independent
Independent.
okay
Independent.
okay thank you very much very nice now we go to the next slide here how do the two sutras there are two sutras right first one what we were talking about First sutra was that there are two living entities, they are going into the cave and all. The second sutra was telling what is the difference between this entity and that entity. Okay. So now,
let me make sure fundamental question here. The sutra says 1.2, then sutras 11 to 12, right? 11 and
yes.
12.
Yes.
What does this 1 and 2 represent? Everybody knows? So this is a fundamentals.
Fundamentals. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. First is a first chapter and
Yeah.
second lesson. First chapter ka second.
No, second is the quarter, 4 quarters.
Quarter.
Every chapter has
Pada.
4 quarters.
Pada.
Pada. Sanskrit name is Pada.
Yes, Prabhu.
And then the sutra actually, because every pada could be one or more sutras might be there.
Like
And what is
Srimad
the-
Bhagavatam, Canto
what is the-
1.2.3.
Yeah, exactly. And what is adhikarana?
Adhikarana is the theme about
Yes,
which
theme or the topic,
topic.
It covers all the main sutras within Adhikarana. It describes that.
This adhikarana introduces the topic on which they talk, and the topic described in 4 particular, Vishaya, Samshaya, Purvapaksha, and Siddhanta.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows the fundamentals.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. So let's continue. In this slide, how do the two sutras, so we saw the two sutras, so how do the two sutras contribute to the qualitative distinctions? Now there are qualitative distinctions also. Just now we saw some distinctions. So how do they contribute to these qualitative distinctions between Jivatma and Paramatma? Now you have to tell about both the sutras, okay? You have to tell about both the sutras, how they contribute to these two distinctions. Okay.
So in the first sutra, they were saying that there was the doubt. Now there could be like intelligence and not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then they said no, the Jivatma is dependent on the Paramatma, so it has to be Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then this sutra confirms that in the heart there are two. One is the Jivatma and the Supreme. They both reside together.
Yes. It is confirmed by the
sutra.
Vedic references.
Okay.
The first sutra 11 refutes that prana and intelligence that cannot be, because again the karma factor. Both says two are there. Which two, right? So that is where it started, and they eliminate one. This is elimination. So what is left is the Jiva and Paramatma left, and then role is given in the second sutra, gives a distinguish between both of them. Yes.
Yes.
That is how it is there. Yes.
Excellent. Very nice. So, and that is because of the first one is telling that because of the Vedic references. Okay. Because of Vedic references only, we can confirm that the Paramatma is the one. Okay, that is very important. Okay, now let's go to the final slide. Very simple question, but very elaborate. How are the two slides interconnected? They say interconnected. How are they interconnected?
They are interconnected is that both of them live in the cave, that is heart. And the second point of interconnectedness is one is meditated and the Param Brahman is meditated and Jivatma meditated. They are interconnected in this aspect.
You have to see the sutras or how they are interconnected. Because first of all, they are talking about Jivatma and Paramatma. Okay, that is first thing, right? They are interconnected. So, how are they? Both are referring to the same thing, referring to the K or the heart, like that you have to tell. One by one. Can you tell?
So they are showing the distinct roles of Jivatma and the Supreme, and then confirming that no, the two entities, one is Jivatma and one is Supreme only. They are supporting each other.
Yes. So, what is one sutra doing and what is the other sutra doing?
One sutra is raising the doubt and other sutra is giving a solution to the doubt.
Yes, one is not is only raising, it is also telling. Because of this that Katha Upanishad, okay,
Kathor
this is the one.
Upanishad.
So it is saying, establishing, all right, but the second sutra is clarifying. Okay, yes, you said this, yes, but now I am clarifying what are these two doing, because Jivatma is dependent on Paramatma, Paramatma is the object of meditation. This is that, because of this, what you are saying is correct. So like this, that is, one is putting forth and another one is clarifying it. Okay, that is the
Generally, in
distinction.
the overall, till now in this Upanishad, in this Mataji, like one sutra, okay, some doubt will come, and then the next consequent sutras clarifies the doubts, okay, by
Yes, but
complementing the previous sutra.
here the first sutra already has the doubt and also told what is the answer.
Oh.
Okay, now the doubt will come, this or this, then answer is this. That already been told by the first sutra. Second sutra
Mm.
is telling more about it. So that is the
Mm.
interconnectedness. So
Mm.
both
Okay.
are drawing on the same Upanishad. Both are talking about the same Upanishad,
Yeah, Katha
Kathopanishad only.
Upanishad. Yeah, Katha Upanishad.
So they are claiming their things are based on the same. And then a distinction between Jiva and Paramatma, that is explained more elaborately, and explained why you are saying like this. Why is the Kathopanishad saying like this? Why is all given in the second sutra. Okay, so I hope I have done justice to the recap. Thank you all very much for participating nicely. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Once
Mataji.
again.
Wonderful recap,
That's been
sir.
wonderful.
Dandot pranam.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Mataji.
pranam.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful recap, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Well done, Archana Mataji. Well done.
Thank you, Tham.
So
Thank you so much.
let me first share my slide. Are you done, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, I have done. I am
Yeah.
done.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay. Everybody see the slide?
Yes, yes, Prabhupada.
Yes. Okay. So we already discussed Archana Mataji that in lesson 13 we did Adhikarana 3, right? So today we are continuing lesson 14 with the Adhikarana 4. See that? And in Adhikarana 4, and there are 5 sutras are there. Again, it's the first chapter, second quarter we are continuing. So verses 13 through 17, there are 31 sutras are there in this. And 31, I think the first, the second, I don't exactly remember now. And so lesson 14 is talking about this Adhikarana 4. And we will see in a moment what is the subject matter that we are discussing about. So here, what is Adhikarana 4? What is the topic? Topic is right shown here. See that? The person in the I is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, I is mentioned. We just learned in this that both Atman and Paramatman resides in the heart, the cave of the heart, right? Why is cave? Because the heart is pitch dark, and Paramatman allows the soul to be able to see surroundings or hear about surroundings through the senses, right? So out of the 5 principal senses, eye is the main one. So and that's where through the eye the light comes. So it says that Paramatman and Atman is in the eye. Actually, it is the influence of his presence in the eyes. Okay, that we'll be talking about. So person in the eye is actually means his influence in that allows the light to be seen, enter, and the soul can see because by himself he cannot see. Okay, so with that we'll continue. So today what I've done, I've sent you, uh, uh, I've added one more slide to this presentation. So I shared with you the refined PowerPoints to all of you. So what is that slide? The slide 2 is the one that I've added that. Basically, this slide gives you it prepares you the proper, it sets the stage of this discussion, okay? So here, and this whole entire, this Adhikarana 4 is based on this particular sutra and particular verse from Chandogya Upanishad, okay? Chandogya Upanishad. And that actually it is based on Chandogya Upanishad verse 1 and 2. But in order to understand, because everything in the Upanishad is really contextual, you cannot pick one particular verse and talk about it, okay? So we have to know in the context of other verses also. So basically, there are first 6 verses are very important in the Chandogya Upanishad, and this is the 4th section of Chandogya Upanishad. So this particular slide I have added to set the stage under which this rest of the lesson talks about. So it's very important. So right now you can see that this verse 13, this verse itself in Chandogya Upanishad, the sutras 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, these 5 sutras are actually directly taken from this Chandogya Upanishad. So here the verse itself from Chandogya Upanishad, Antara Upapateha. Antara means something internal, okay? And we are talking about who is residing in the heart. Both are residing in the heart, but whose influence is the major one when it comes to seeing, visualizing the surroundings, okay? So Antara, that is inside the heart. Upapateha. Upapateha means that is described in the verse itself. Now, so here, so that is taken from Sutra number 13. In the second part, Sthana Adi. Sthana means the position. Adi means etc. So more than one. Vyapadesacha. Vyapadesa means they described in the Upanishads. So that is when we talked about in the Sutra number 14. So first one is basically introducing Atman and Paramatman, who is the one who is causes, who allows the main controller of the vision, you know. And sthana is the position described there in the 14th sutra. We'll be talking in just a moment. So we are just setting a stage here. The third component, sukha vishishta abhidhanat evacha. Sukha means the happiness, but this is not the ordinary kind of happiness we are talking about. Visishta, a very unique happiness, and that is the transcendental bliss, and that is not observed by the soul itself, soul itself. That is the one we are talking about, the Paramatman. Okay, so Sukha Visishta Abhidhanad Eva. Abhidhanad means one, we know about that. We'll see in a word by word meaning also exactly. So that is Sutra number 15. Look at Sutra number 16. All 5 sutras are right there taken from this Chandogya Upanishad verses. Shruta Upanishad ka Gati Abhidhanacha. Again, the same Abhidhanach came back right here. Abhidhanat means no. So Gati means the destination. Destination of who or what? Destination of one who hears, properly hears the message of Upanishad. Okay? Shruto means hearing. Hearing is very, very important. Shruto Upanishad ka, from the Upanishad, one who hears, what is his destination? That is what we are going to learn in the Sutra number 16. And finally, number Sutra 17. So here, first we'll see in this Adhikarana, in the doubt, Samshaya, and based on that, Purva Paksha will become. We'll see there are various possibilities. There are at least 3 or 4 possibilities. One is you might be able to see the reflection in the eye. You see, when you see somebody else's eye, if you really focus, you can see your own image in somebody else's eyes, So is it that some kind of reflection we are talking about in the eyes? Other possibility is the Jivatman. Who is the one who is mainly responsible in the vision in the eyes? Is it that? But we all know we cannot see something when it's pitch dark. When there's no sun, we cannot see. So is it the sun responsible? The rays of the sun enters in the eyes and illuminates the surrounding. Okay. So that's the third possibility. Fourth possibility is the Paramatman, the second entity situated in the cave of the heart, Paramatman. So the other 3 that I just listed here, they also can seem to fit in this description, but not perfectly well, as the Siddhanta will point out that. Okay? So that is what is pointed out in the 17th Sutra. And everything, all these negative elements are there. You see that. Ana avastiter. Avastita means that's situated. Ana means it negates that meaning. Okay. The soul does not have eternal presence to see the vision surrounding that we'll see. And then असंभवात, संभव किसी की बात की संभावना होनी चाहिए, हिंदी में कहते हैं ना हम लोग. असंभव, संभव means possibility. Asambhav means there is no possibility the soul being able to control the vision by himself. Cha and netara. Netara means, netra is eyes, of course. Here it's not that. It's a sandhi. Na itaraha. Na means negates. Itara means this onwards, this like, etc. So here, the translation, the person in the eye is the Supreme Lord, Paramatman. Because of the evidence given in the passage. See, that's the first one. Antara upapatteha. Upapatteha means this Upanishad sheds light. So it enlightens us. It gives the right answer. Who is the internal controller of that? So person in the eye is the Supreme Lord because of the evidence given in the passage. So that knowledge is based on the Shastra. Remember the second sutra we learned right from beginning? Shastra yonitvat, right? Only through Shastra is the perfect way of knowing something, because that is coming from the Supreme all the way. Okay? So that is what it's saying, that because the evidence given in the passage, the final determination is going to be made by that. And because of the statements in the scriptures, the Lord being present in the eye and in other places as well. So it's not, Lord is not controlling just the vision in the eyes, but all the 5 Gyanendriyas, ears, tongue, taste, touch, skin, and so on like that. Okay. So he is able to control all the 5 senses, then everything else. Okay. Prana is also like that. We'll see one of the sutras later on. We'll see that prana also. And he is also Vaishvanara, being present in the eye and other places. Other places mean all other senses. So here there is a particular this Upanishad, 4th chapter, 4th section, is given the dialogue taking place between Satyakama Jabala and Upakoshala. So who are they? So there's a brief story is given, and actually is given by Srila Prabhupada. And this particular author, Chaitanya Charanadas, he reproduces Srila Prabhupada's that particular talk that he had given in Vienna, and that he refers to it in one of his purports, 122, I believe. So here I'll just tell you very briefly. Is Satyakama, Prabhu? Yeah, Satyakama Jabala was a boy, and he developed intense interest in knowing what is Brahman, okay, and what is Brahmana. He knew Brahmana means Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. One who knows Brahman is the true Brahmana. So he wanted to learn that. Basically, he wanted to learn the spiritual knowledge. So he was looking for a proper guru. So he went to Gautama Rishi, Gautama Muni, and seek his permission whether he can accept him as his disciple. So Gautama Rishi, in those times, they strictly want to inquire, because Vedic knowledge is not transmitted, not taught to somebody who is in a Shudra 4th class, okay? Only topmost Brahmana, then comes Kshatriya, and then comes Vaishya. So he asked, what is your Gotra, your lineage? And the boy didn't know about it, So Gautama Rishi said, okay, find out from your mother, because your mother should know who is your father, lineage, So he goes back. Actually, he's the son of not just a maid servant, but his wife, his mother was actually a prostitute. And prostitute, as everybody knows, she gets intimacy from not one or two, so many people every night, So she also doesn't know when she gets impregnated, who impregnated her. She was unable to tell, So she tells her son, I don't know really. So he comes and tells point blank, very truthfully to Gautama Rishi, I really neither do I know, nor do my mother knows, So immediately that became apparent that he was of lower birth, not of any of the three higher castes. Despite that, Gautama Rishi immediately determined that he may not be a birth by Brahmana by birth, but he has the Brahminical qualification. And what is the topmost Brahminical qualification? Being truthful. So this boy very truthfully disclosed who his mother was, including giving the indication his mother was of low character. That means she was a prostitute, and he was the outcome of that, So he was very, very truthful about that. And Gautama Rishi was very, very pleased by that, and he accepted him. At least he has Brahminical qualifications. So he accepted him, gave him some duties in the ashrama, and then he said that you take care of the 400 cows. And he doesn't started giving the instruction that he was looking for, okay? Brahmana and what all these things. So he asked him to take care of 400 cows and take care of them, and then 400 cows, they become 1,000. Then you come back and I will answer your questions, okay? So he spent many years outside the ashram and everything, and there he meets the wind god, the Agni, and as well as sun god, not directly, but their representation in particular form, okay? And he was informed exactly what Brahman is all about, all the transcendental knowledge, everything he learned about it, So when he comes back and tells his guru, Guru was very, very impressed and asked him, please share that whatever you learn from the Vayu god, wind god, Agni Dev, sun god, and Guru himself wanted to learn about that, So very impressed. Of course, then as the time progresses, Satyakama himself became a guru, okay? And he accepted a disciple whose name was Upakoshala. The same thing it did that Upakoshala came for spiritual knowledge, and what he learned from his guru, he does not directly disclose to him. He said, go and come back later. So Upakoshala also goes outside the ashram, and there also he also meets various entities, okay, and he learns and he comes back. The same thing, repeat thing happens actually. So this is where the when he comes back, the dialogue is taking place between Satyakama and Upakoshala, and that is what Chandogya Upanishad is all about, especially this fourth section. And this sutra, these 5 sutras are based on that. So person in the eye is the Lord, because he is described as full of transcendental bliss, happiness. So this is the kind of very unique kind of happiness that we don't experience in the material world. And because it is described that those who hear, how it is here? By Upanishad, properly, hearing from a self-realized soul. So the Upanishads are by nature, philosophy is very deep, very complex, very intricate. So you need to learn from proper gurus by hearing. So hearing is very important, and that hearing is stressed very heavily here. Okay, and then when you hear from Upanishadic knowledge properly from a qualified spiritual master who comes from Guru Parampara, directly that knowledge comes from Krishna all the way, okay, down, without alteration. So that is the proper way to learn. And when you learn that Upanishadic knowledge, then your destination, you go back to spiritual world. So he can't be anyone else, because others don't permanently reside in the eye. That other possibilities, seeing your own reflection, Jivatman, or the sun god, they are not directly responsible. They are not permanently, they don't permanently reside all the time. Like the soul, he is sleeping all this, you cannot see that, But Paramatma is always awake and don't possess the attributes, that is needed attributes. That also comes from Paramatma. So we will see in the 5th sutra, precisely in those negative elements that I showed you, anavastita, asambhavaj, that is impossible to know, the itarata, etc., etc. Okay? So person in the eye is the Lord, because he is described as being full of transcendental bliss. And also because it is described that those who hear the Upanishad attain the Lord, they go back to spiritual world. Well, of course, we are hearing this knowledge, supreme knowledge. Our destination is assured, okay? The right destination. He can't be anyone else. Those other possibilities raised by the samshaya, doubt, or purupaksha, other possibilities, and they also gives verses. Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, but again they misinterpret those verses. And then Siddhanta, Vedic conclusion given by Vyasadeva, who's the author, he exactly points out how that could be misinterpreted and what is the right kind of ultimate knowledge, what is the truth, right answer ought to be, he gives that. Okay, so the person in the eye is described as Purusha, and that also Vishesha Purusha, that we learn from the sutras, these Yoga Sutras. He is Atman, but he's not just ordinary Atman, he is Paramatman. And he's Brahman, but he's not Brahman, he's also soul, but he is Parabrahman. Okay? And he's Amrita, he's eternal. Atman is not eternal because he has to change his bodies. And Sampada Dhama, all the particular destination, everything is all about that. That is also given. So this gives an overall background story before we get to the subject. That's the reason I chose this particular slide. Now we get into it. So as you all know, Adhikarana, which gives the topic, what is under discussion, and under these four headings, Vishaya, exactly what is the statement you make about it, very briefly, and then Samshaya, then Samshaya means honest doubt about it, okay? Whereas Purupaksha is bent on exactly, in fact, Purupaksha is called antithesis, whereas Vishaya is a thesis statement, exactly in complete opposition to that Purupaksha comes up. And then Siddhanta will systematically disprove the wrong conclusion and gives the right Vedic conclusion. That is Vyasadeva, the author. So that is what is given this 5 points basically. So what is the topic? Main topic is, of course, who is present in the eyes. Present means who is actually responsible giving the vision to the eye. And we all know each senses, there are internal senses are there, internal elements are there in the 5 Gyanendriyas, and that is controlled by many of the demigods. But even demigods are not the ultimate controller. Ultimate controller is the Supreme Lord himself. So person in the eye is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is immortal. Look at the characteristics. He is immortal, eternal, fearless Brahman. And so he is Parabrahman actually. And he is the inner self, Paramatman. So here Brahman is very specifically mentioned as the Paramatman we are talking about. Okay. Second point, he is the essence of beauty, opulence, nectarian immortality, details such as water or butter. Now here it's given. In the eye, when you put water, the water does not stay there in the eyes, immediately rolls out of the eyes. Even when we cry, the tears come out rolling out, right? It will come out. Noting that even if you apply, water is what is called hydrophilic, right? Philic means one who loves. Hydro means water. And there's a opposite of that is that the hydrophobic, one who hates water, and that is hydrocarbons, So the fat, ghee, oil is completely opposite. So even if you put water, it will come out. Even if you put ghee or oil in the eye, it will immediately come out. It will not be absorbed by the eyes. So that is the characteristic. So details such as water or buffer not staying in the eye symbolize his transcendental nature because of the Paramatman's influence in the eyes. The path after death, as described here, leads to liberation, underscoring the importance of recognizing this divine presence. So we must really truly know how come we are able to see. Our visualization is not because by ourselves, Atma itself, but it is because of the mercy of the Paramatman. Human reasoning alone is limited and prone to error because of our imperfect senses. Reliable knowledge of this person comes through Vedic revelation. Only through Upanishads, Shruti Shastra and Smriti Shastra, both are involved. That how we learn the truth. And that is coming from not bottom up. Science is bottom up. We do the experiment, we derive the truth, right? But truth is also partial and not perfect. But what is coming from top down, straight coming from the Supreme Lord through Guru Parampara, then we know the actual truth. So that is coming. So it's called Avaroha path. Avaroha means bottom, top down, as opposed to bottom up. By receiving knowledge from a higher authority, so scriptures, rather than relying on speculative theories. So philosophical way of thinking is not totally, Prabhupada is to say, when you're philosophical by simply imagining things, speculation, that's prohibited. But philosophy based on the scriptural frame, then it's perfectly okay, within the boundaries set by the scriptures. Then you can do a philosophical thinking about it. Okay, so that is the topic very well described here. Topic is, who is the one who is really be able to see, allows the visualization of the eye, So here the samshaya comes. So here samshaya says, who is the person in the eye? A mere reflection of oneself? A demigod, like sun god? The sun rays through which the light comes, and then we are able to see, because that's also a possibility. It looks like, so demigod, sun god, is it he? Or is the Jivatman soul himself, or the Supreme Personality Godhead? All these five can fit the description, but we'll see in the Siddhanta that other principles, in particular the Sutra number 17, will exactly point out why other possibilities are not valid enough. So these options show sincere attempts to understand the inner presence in the eye. What is the inner entity that controls? Vision is just like a organ. Organ has to function. The function of the organ that comes from this super soul, Paramatma. The doubt highlights the need for discernment. What is the right from the wrong? And guidance from the scriptures and realized teachers. Both are required. Scripture, but to be able to, because scriptural knowledge sometimes could sound like contradictory. So you need a self-realized soul to help you understand properly those complex, intricate philosophy of the Upanishads. By both ways that we learn about it, truth. Okay. So now, so Adhikarana. So we are talking the 5 different themes that we are talking about. So now, so in Adhikarana 4, we already saw what is the topic in the discussion. We also saw the possibility of samshaya, reflection, Jivatman, Paramatma, and so on like that. Purva Paksha now hangs on exactly opposite to what this is there. So he, Purva Paksha, points out these 3 possibilities, and he hangs on that. Reflection, one's own reflection that you can see in somebody else's eye, and that's what you get the vision. This reduces the vision to an egocentric view and fail to acknowledge a being beyond one's limited individuality. So when you see your own image in somebody else's eye, somebody else sees you, that's just secondary, not primary. Okay, then the sun god, through the sun rays, the illumination comes, and that's why your eyes are able to see, visualize. That sounds like possibility, right? But here, citing texts that describe the sun's rays entering the eye, some people think that it's the sun god that gives the vision as the person in the eye. This accepts the divine influence, but so sun god is, of course, divinity is there, but not the supreme divinity. Okay. And third possibility is the Jivatma himself. Whether he controls that, his own body, his own being able to visualize through his eye, through his Gyanendriyas. So others identify the person as the individual soul, Jivatman, residing in the body. This narrows the description and does not match the description given in the Upanishad. Upanishad very clearly describes the entity must be eternal, all the time present. And he is completely full of knowledge, and he is in absolute transcendental bliss. None of these other possibilities, these three categories, fit that description. On that basis, you can negate that possibility. That we'll see in Sutra number 17. So Siddhanta, how does Siddhanta is going to disprove these wrong propositions and come to the right conclusion? So here I have described in 5 different ways. But main thing is that the way it is described in the Upanishad is just superficially fits these other possibilities. But if you really examine thoroughly, then it negates that. Okay? Only the Supreme Being, Paramatman, is the one who allows us to be able to visualize our surroundings. So how does it do that? Siddhanta, that is author. And he concludes through Vedic knowledge. Each view captures only part of the truth. Just like an elephant, a huge elephant and little tiny being, one person is hanging near the foot of the elephant. So he thinks that he interprets this particular entity is like a pillar, because you cannot see the whole thing. One person sits in the tail and it looks like a rope, So that is just like that. Only partial view can get. So each view captures only part of the truth, all these other possibilities, and fail to match what is described in the Upanishads, particularly Chandogya Upanishad. It attributes the immortality. So what are the characteristics, the criteria? First, that entity must be immortal, eternal. And we know soul cannot be immortal, because soul has to change its bodies. Reflection is also sometimes there's possibility, that's not possibility. Demigods, if the cloud comes between our vision and the sun, then the sunlight cannot come and we cannot see. So that is not eternal. So on like that, one by one, methodically, it removes those possibilities. Only that Upanishadic description criteria set by the Upanishad, it fits only to the Paramatman and supreme divinity. Therefore, these expressions are insufficient. Those put forward by the Purva-paksha. And the basis, when all evidence is weighed in totality, the person in the eye must be the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is eternal, full of bliss and all knowledge. This settles the earlier doubts and corrects the speculative interpretations. The traditional hierarchy of pramanas, the pramanas, proof. There are many different ways you can derive the proof, But the 3 main kind of proof that is accepted universally is when one is pratyaksha, you are able to see yourself, but that's also not perfect, because our senses are not perfect. Then second is anumana, deduction. So A depends on B, B depends on C, so A must be equal to C, but it's a circular argument. If one of them is not right, everything falls apart. So the third is this Shabda Pramana. It is the Vedic knowledge that is given coming straight from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the perfect one, Shabda Pramana. So that you get it from self-realized souls who can, and through coming from the Shastra. So this method belongs to the established interpretive disciplines of Vedanta and Mimamsha. Purva Mimamsha, Uttar Mimamsha, It is the Uttar Mimamsha is the Vedanta Sutra. And the fourth point, understanding this topic depends on the disciplic succession for proper interpretation. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, all three must combine, coming to the same conclusion. Then, so faith in Shastra, very second sutra, Vedanta Sutra talks about Shastra Yonitvat. Only you have to have faith in Shastra, like Srimad Bhagavatam, and teachings of the realized spiritual masters. Through this framework, through this scriptural framework, then you can come to the conclusion, right conclusion. The identity of the person in the I is the Supreme Personality Godhead, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So you see, that's how all the 558 sutras you will see, adhikaranas, they are given, they are based on this criteria. So now we'll go one by one sutras. And as I pointed out, the Chandogya Upanishad, those 5 sutras are exactly taken word by word from that particular verse in Chandogya Upanishad. Okay? So first one is Antara, Antara, Upapatteha. Upapatteha means coming straight from the scriptures. Antara means internal. Antara means the person within, and within person could be a soul himself, Atman, or Paramatman, which is which. Upapatteha means because of reason, deduction, deductive, logical, reasonable conclusion. Okay? So person within the I is, if you consider all these criteria, then it must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because that conclusion is dictated by that particular reason given in the Upanishad. Sutra states that a person in the I is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It highlights his unique qualities. Paramatma has unique qualities, is all-knowing, is the supreme bliss, and so on, such as immortality, greatness, vibhu, the soul is just a tiny. Freedom from material context, material imperfection is not there, is all spiritual, transcendental. We are under the modes of material nature, we are conditioned souls. And being the reservoir of all opulence, 6 kinds of opulence, that's called Bhagavana. Bhaga means the 6 kinds of opulences, and he's complete in that, unlimited. Third point, the reasoning, deduction, logical deduction. Upapate is that means that. So very logically come to that conclusion based on this Chandogya Upanishad. The word Upapateha, because it is reasonable and logically fitting, all the criteria must fit, then the other possibilities can be one by one be eliminated. So process of elimination, and then finally you come to the conclusion it must be the Supreme Brahman who is responsible for being able to visualize, even though we have these eyes, because eyes cannot work without the Supreme Being. So it must be disciplined and kept under the authority of the scripture and the Guru. Later on I'll tell you about my own, I lost one eye. I'm not blind in the left eye. I can see the peripheral vision, So when I was going through that, I became so enlightened, that ultimately it's up to the Lord, Supreme Lord. Whatever he decides, that will happen to me. My only functional eye is in the right eye. And that also already started affecting. The right eye, the left eye is called wet AMD. AMD means age-related macular degeneration. The central vision in the retina, where bleeding started because I was taking blood thinner, high doses. So that's why it started. Very suddenly I lost, frontal vision. The right eye is called dry AMD. It's already there, but the bleeding is not yet started, But it will happen, in time, given time. So when I go through that, now I feel very happy. Because if Lord would allow me to live up to, I finish my set goals to serve him and his devotees, that's all I have to worry about it. When my time comes, so all these other points, I don't need to worry about it. So you see, direct application, I see in my own personal case. So Chandogya Upanishad 4.15, 1 to 4, verses 1 to 4, describe the person in the I as the immortal, fearless Brahman, the self of Brahman, Parabrahman. It represents him as the inner controller, Antara Upapateha, an ultimate reality associated with vision and beauty. Other Upanishads may mention the person in the eye, but Chandogya Upanishad gives the fullest theological description. That verse that I just introduced to you perfectly gives all the criteria that must be satisfied to come to the final conclusion, true conclusion, that it is the Supreme Lord, Paramatman, who controls not just eyes. Eyes is the principle of the five Gyanendriyas. This is why it's very, very important. The primary basis for Sutra's conclusion. Okay, now this Sutra number 14. So Sutra number 14, the second part. In the second part, I pointed out that verse, right? First is Antara Upapatteha. Second word, second phrase of words is the Sthana Adi. Sthana means position, Adi, etc. So it could be more than one. Vyapadesach, the way actually they describe in the scriptures. Cha and. Sthana means the place. Adi, etc. Beginning with Vyapadesach. Because of the statement, particular statement, Vedic statement, Upanishadic statement that is given, based on that, you learn who must be the real one who is controlling the eye vision. Also, and also because of the teaching in the scriptures that the Supreme Personality God is present in this place and other places as well. Other places means other Gyanendriyas, the rest of the four Gyanendriyas, rest of the five Gyanendriyas totally, including eyes. The Sutra explains the Supreme Lord is not only in the eye, but present in other Indriyas also, indicating his omnipresence. He is everywhere. There is no place that he is not there. He is the inner controller, Antaryami. So that's clearly saying we are talking about Paramatman, not just Brahman, Brahman in the form of Paramatman, of the eye and all the senses, the rest of the other four senses too. So here the response, this Purva-Paksha is pointing out this Brahma, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, pointing out that 3.7.18. So here we are going to see the correction for that. A being who is within the eye, unseen by those in whom he dwells, Paramatma, internal dweller, okay, and yet controlling the eye from within. So he is situated from within, okay. So this being is distinct from Jivatman that the Purva-Paksha was pointing out, quoting the same verse, okay, from Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. So, but this criteria does not fit the criteria set by the Chandogya Upanishad. Immortality, perfect happiness, transcendental bliss, eternality, and all these things, and is addressed as the inner ruler, Paramatman. Immortal, clearly indicating the Supreme Lord as the indwelling controller, Antaryami. Fourth point, Supreme Lord One resides in the eye as the source of power, pervades all beings and places. So he is universally there, not in our body, all the living entities, he is there. So those three criteria are right. We see in the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita, Upabandha, he sanctions. Without his sanction, even the blade of grass cannot move. He is witness, and he is the best well-wishing friend, Suradam Sarvabhutanam. But in addition to three, he is also controller of all our internal senses. Control of all senses and bodies from within as the Paramatma. He gives the guidance also. Thus, the presence in the eye is one manifestation of a universal indwelling presence. Is universally, Paramatman is universal. Material illusion false ego and self-centered life acts like a cloud. Sun is there. Sun is not disappearing. But between the sun and we, if the cloud comes momentarily, our vision is blocked, right? So that's what you're talking about. So this false ego, bodily conception of life, when we are in material consciousness and being ignorant of the super soul being present in us, then we get into trouble. Acts like a cloud. So that's like a cloud blocking the true vision. Covering the sun. The sun remains, but it's not visible. Similarly, the Lord is present, but not perceived by conditioned souls. Everyday distractions and ego-centered concerns function like these clouds. So it's like a cloud. All other things that we are talking about, materialism, bodily conception of life, and all, just like I was worried about that, right? That what happens if I lose my right eye, also the good eye? It'll be worse than dying, All these things, I feel really now at peace with myself. Let Super Soul decide what is to be done. He knows what I need to do, and I'm working for him and his devotees. So let him decide. Why should I worry about it? I do whatever is possible within my capacity. I should not stay without doing anything. Do whatever is possible, like I'm seeing a doctor and all this treatment, everything is there, But ultimately now I feel so peace at myself, Let him decide whatever will happen. So while he is present in all eyes, he is truly seen only with the eye of devotion. So now comes the most important point. Divya Chakshu. If you want to see something transcendental, then you need a Divya Chakshu. And that is by his mercy. Brahma Samhita 538. Lakshmata, do you know that verse?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shurita,
May I
Bhakti
recite?
Vilochane.
Yes. प्रेमाञ्जनचुरित भक्तिविलोचनेन सन्त सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्यं गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
Wonderful. Thank you. So there is this Brahma Samhita verses here, 538, says that only those whose eyes are anointed with the ointment of love, Prema Bhakti, can constantly see the Lord everywhere. Is able to see the Lord's presence everywhere. Therefore, hearing from pure devotees and cultivating love are essential to perceive the divine person. So I see the personality of Godhead through the scriptures, Vedanta Sutras, Srimad Bhagavatam. That is our means of being able to connect ourselves with the Supreme. He is situated within us, inside. But at this point, at least I am not advanced enough to be able to see internally. So whatever the knowledge I get is doing this, conducting these courses, So much has been learning. So let's take a short break and see if there are any questions, points so far, whatever we discussed. Any points that's not clear? Now we are clear about the criteria it's set in the Chandogya Upanishad, right? And based on this criteria, we can safely eliminate other three possibilities: self-reflection, sun god, Jivatman. You become clear now how those criteria rules out those possibilities and ultimately come to the conclusion of Supreme Brahman, Paramatman, Antaryami is the one who allows us to see through our eyes. He is the one
Prabhuji.
controller.
Yeah. So one thing you mentioned very clearly, Prabhuji, and that gives a more clarity that we were trying to connect. Only think that the person in the eye. We were just saying that the localized view, and we're not able to understand. But when you mention the importance of who makes that vision possible, right? So the connectivity is that part is very nice. That I could see that, and once with that sentence you can see the connectivity. This is how we have to see the link between what is a mention, whether it's
Yes.
Paramatma or the two entities in the heart. I understand that, Prabhuji. Very nice. Thank you.
Paramatma and soul both are in heart, but they transmit their influence through all these organs, and reverse.
Yes, thank you.
Because in the heart, there's a pitch dark. This Paramatma allows the soul to be able to see through the eyes. So indirectly, as if he is there in the eyes. That's the way it's presented. Any other questions, points?
Prabhuji, in previous sutra also we see that जब इंद्र कहता है आई एम a prana, वामदेव कहता है आई एम a manu, I am the sun god. So we see that everybody is depend on Lord. So everybody gets the power from Lord. Even we say कि हमारे जो आंखों के जो अधिष्ठान देवता है वो सूर्य है, मगर उनको भी वो पावर मिलता है भगवान से.
Exactly.
This is
So ultimately everything.
We should think like that.
Rasam apsu kauteya. Rasam, even the taste of the water, it goes Paramatma situated everywhere.
Yeah, very true.
Okay.
And
So wonderful sutra, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir, Prabhuji.
And why the Supreme Lord is there in all our senses. If that is realized, then we will feel that the Lord is within us and we are fully dependent on Him. Like even if we have the eyes, but if the Lord is not giving that vision, we will not be able to see. So that is,
see all the information coming through all these external senses, right? But when it comes and to make interpretation of that, that's where also soul himself cannot do that. Paramatma helps him to sort out things,
प्रभुजी, यहाँ पे हम माधवी गोपी की कथा को कनेक्ट कर सकते, क्योंकि भगवान ने कह दिया था कि अभी तुम मुझे नहीं देख पाएगी, तो बहुत कोशिश करती है वो माधवी गोपी कृष्ण लीला में, जो मीराबाई का स्वरूप बने नेक्स्ट कलयुग में. तो हाँ, तो फिर वो नहीं देख पाए, तो नहीं देख, आंखें थी फिर भी नहीं देख पाए थे वो भगवान को, उनके सामने ही खड़े थे फिर भी नहीं देख पाए.
Okay, let's move on. So now sutra number 15, the third part of it, okay? 13, 14, 15, we have a third part of it. In the same Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad verse that I gave you in the second slide. Sukha Visishta Abhidhanat. Happiness, but the happiness is not ordinary kind of happiness that we see in the material world. Visishta, unique, special. So that is transcendental bliss. That is present only with the Supreme Lord, not any of the three other possibilities raised by Purvapaksha. So that is Sukha means happiness, Visishta, distinguished, unique, special. Abhidhanat, because of that description given in the Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. Eva, indeed. So also because he is described in full bliss. So blissful state is one of the criteria. There's only the super soul fits into that criteria, not the other three other possibilities. Sutra highlights that a person in the eye is described as full of bliss, ananda, Satchit Ananda, right? Such unlimited essential bliss belongs uniquely only to the Supreme Lord. And bliss is the mark of supreme transcendental bliss. Transcendental means beyond the influence of the three modes of material nature. In fact, three modes of material nature makes us conditional. Even we have these things, we cannot control. So Ananda is not a fleeting pleasure, but infinite, unconditioned fulfillment. The Supreme is described as bliss itself. He is the personified bliss and is complete in that. So when we become his devotee and we have a complete faith in him, unconditional faith in him, then we get a trace of bliss in us. Who sometimes experience happiness. So we experience sometimes happiness, but that's also by his grace. So the intrinsic limitless bliss cannot apply to conditioned souls or even to the exalted demigods. Even sun god, he gets his power only through the Paramatmans. In fact, there is a verse in the Bhagavatam, the sun does his role, Indra does his role, all other demigods does their role out of fear of the Supreme Lord. If they don't do it, they're worried, they are extremely scared of Lord getting annoyed by that. So the power can be withdrawn. And there are scriptures support. Chandogya Upanishad, we already discussed about it, links the Supreme to life and bliss, showing that the ultimate reality is both the source of all existence and all true happiness. Perfect happiness comes only when we become Krishna conscious. Gopala Tapani Upanishad, we did that also course, right? Straight, completely focused on Gopala Tapani Upanishad. Identifies Krishna as the Supreme, explains that knowing Krishna is equivalent to knowing the Vedas. Vedic knowledge is coming from, in fact, Brahmaji got this knowledge in Chatushtaka Bhagavatam straight from, and that is being transmitted in disciplic succession. Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, and so on like that. Satchitananda. And then Brahma Samhita, Rakshamata just recited that verse. The eyes should be anointed with that ointment of bhakti. Then we are able to see what it is, reality. What eyes can see may not be real. कहते हैं जो देखा वो जरूरी नहीं कि वो वही सच है. एक कानून मूवी आई थी अब बहुत साल पहले, इसमें बताया गया है. Brahma Samhita similarly presents Krishna Govinda as the original Supreme Lord. He is the one, especially Vrindavan Krishna. Okay. Meaning of Visishta, Ananda. Visishta means unique, special, distinguished. The sutra emphasizes the distinguished bliss, Visishta, and is also Visishta Purusha, Vishesha Purusha. Not ordinary Purusha, but we are also Purusha. Underscores that this bliss is qualitatively different from material happiness. Even if you get $1 billion, what happiness we might get, that is not compared to this transcendental bliss we are talking about. Yeah. Practical insight. Recognize the person in the eye as Govinda, full of bliss, ties the doctrine to the goal of human life. Real happiness is participation in his bliss and attained by relations with him. So we need to really become Krishnaized. Our entire being should be in that, constantly hearing about him. Then the perfect happiness comes through that. Instead of this fleeting, independent material pursuits. Verse 16, Shruto Upanishadic. So here Shruta means hearing from the Upanishads. Gati, then you get the right destination. You get to go, return back to spiritual world. That is the ultimate benefit of that. Abhidhana, knowing that. Shruta means heard. Upanishad means Upanishad. Gati means the ultimate destination. Abhidhanat, because of the description given in the Upanishads, and because of the description of the destination of those who hear the Upanishad. So we connect ourselves through this knowledge transmitted through this Shastra, which is coming straight from the Supreme Lord, top down, without interpretation, only through the lotus mouth of the self-realized souls, spiritual master, who are his pratinidhi, who are his representative. So they give the knowledge without adulteration, human adulteration. The sutra stresses the hearing and understanding of Upanishads, leading to one, A, realization of the person in the I as the Supreme Lord, and B, attainment of a spiritual realm. See that two advantage. One, the realization of the person in the I, that he is there, giving us the ability to visualize it as it is. Second point, our destination, ultimately we go back to spiritual world. So those who grasp this teaching share a common destination, union with the Supreme in a loving relationship, even in the spiritual world, even after liberation. Hearing as the path. So Shravana is the most important. Everyone knows that, right? So first, simply hear about it. Vedantic tradition emphasizes hearing in different ways, many different ways of hearing. What is the right way of doing that? Some stress realization of the impersonal Brahman through hearing, while personalist traditions highlight. So here the emphasis is on not the impersonalist, but there is a Bhagavan. He is a person, supreme person. He is not some entity, impersonal entity. So that personal realization has to be there. And there are many scriptures that has been quoted here. Chandogya Upanishad we already talked about. Then Isha Upanishad, Mantra 16, contains a prayer to see the Supreme Lord in the form of bliss, Anandamaya. So this expresses the soul's longing for direct vision of the personal blissful God. This comes after considerable advancement in our bhakti process. Bhagavad Gita 8.21 speaks of the supreme and unmanifest abode beyond material nature, reached by devotees and never again lost. So again, there is the Janma Karmachmya Divyam Yama Yoveti Tattvata. Then आगे क्या होता है रक्षा माता जी? Rest of the verse.
त्यक्त्वा देह पुनर्जन्म नेति मामेति सोऽर्जुन.
So Arjuna, so we get to go back to the spiritual world. Service rather than merging. So these Gyanis, they want to commit spiritual suicide, merging the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. But the devotees, they want to merge, but not in that sense. They want to completely become Krishnaized, totally always be conscious about the Supreme Being. And in direct contact through the bhakti process, we connect ourselves with Him. That way, they become Krishnaized. So final verse 17. Now here are the negative elements. How the other possibilities are one by one eliminated. Anavastita, asambhavat, impossible. Na itarataha, not here and there. Anavastitata. So because anavastita means what? Because the abode is not eternal. So this material world is not eternal. Even the demigods, their own world is also not eternal. They also, in time, they become destroyed. Even though they seemingly have a long lifespan, ultimately they also must return back to this material world in this human form of life before they can become liberated. Asambhavat, not possible, because of being impossible. Cha, not. Itna na itarataha means not anyone else can fit that bill. neither the reflection, neither Jivatman, nor the sun god fit the bill perfectly. So the sutra concludes the section. So here, very systematically removes other possibilities that brought about by the Purvapaksha. Only the Supreme Lord fits that bill. Specified, criteria specified in the Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. So Sutra concludes this section by stating that only the Supreme Lord came the person in the eye. That's Siddhanta. So demigod, Jivatman, and reflection do not fit the prescription, specifically being pointed out here, because they are not permanently present there and do not fully possess the specific divine attributes. While others accelerate, the person in the eye is described as immortal. Whereas soul is immortal, but he has to change his bodies. And fearless. We are always completely worried about so many things in our life, right? The greatest. We are not the greatest. We are the abode of all opulence and permanently associated with seeing and the path up to liberation. Ordinary beings are subject to birth and death, samsara. Like complete opulence, we don't have that kind of total opulence, and cannot remain eternally as the inner seer of all eyes. Paramatma sees all eyes. He allows the vision to everyone. Ordinary beings are subject to birth and death. They are not eternal. Scriptural support, we already discussed many of the scriptural things. Expand as light, which enables seeing, and the eye itself, which functions by his will. So my eyes, whatever that happens, what is the Supreme Lord, this will happen. Why need I to worry? Spiritual meaning of vision. Because our ability to see depends on him, every act of perception can be, this is very important, okay? Because our ability to see depends on him, especially it applies to me. Every act of perception can be understood as participant in his power. Even those who are blind, who was the great devotee of the Lord who was totally blind from birth and still able to see Krishna Lila right in front of, as if it's happening in front of his eyes. Do you remember his name?
Surdas ji.
Exactly. So if Krishna desires, we don't need his eyes.
Bilva Mangala Thakur also.
He gives the Divya Chakshu, inner vision. Eyes is the external organ, but inside the vision is there. An opportunity to remember the indwelling seer, so that we need to remember the antaryami within us. We don't have to look elsewhere. Just inwardly turn our vision. And that is through bhakti process. Rituals such as arati. Remember, when we take arati comes, that light comes, the ghee lamp, and we honor, right? So that helps us too also. That's pointed out here in this. Rituals such as arati, where light is offered to the deity and then brought to the devotee's eyes. So that way we symbolically affirm my power to see is given by the Lord. So we admit, we accept when we take the arati and we honor that arati to touch our eyes, heart, like that, inner vision. See how it's beautifully connected, that also here. My power to see is given by the Lord, and true vision means seeing with his light and recognizing his presence. When the flower offered to the Lord and then we smell it, our whole internal consciousness becomes purified. Same way, food offered first to the Lord and then remnants we accept. Internally we become purified. All these things are given by Srila Prabhupada, coming all the way from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this process is so powerful. How inner consciousness can be purified by just these simple processes. Attending Mangal Aarti, or in the home, our home deities, when we offer Aarti, these things can be done by every one of us very easily. Now so for now individually we analyze each sutra, right? Now collectively we look all these 5 sutras. What can we conclude? So throughout all 558 sutras, I'm giving you this collective vision also everywhere. In two ways. First, the common denominators. What is the common element touching all 5, or what a number of sutras are there? And then what is the interconnectedness? How each sutra is connected with others, and systematically they connect. So here, this is a good example. 5 verses, how they connect in a methodical way, defined way. I was really impressed by this way it is given. Look at this progression to sutras 13 through 17. Sutra number 13 identifies him as the supreme by his unique attributes: immortality, right? Supreme bliss, and so on. Those criteria mentioned in the that particular Chandogya Upanishad. So using reason and this Chandogya Upanishad. Okay, so that is where the criteria is being introduced to us. Now, Sutra number 14, it shows his omnipresent indwelling in control, especially of the eye, even there. Then 15 highlights his blissful nature, transcendental bliss. Okay. Sutra number 16 explains that he is realized through, how do we realize? Simply hear, properly hear from a self-realized soul the statements given in the Upanishads. Then our gati is going back to the spiritual world. And finally, how it negates systematically all other possibilities and only come to the conclusion only the Supreme Lord himself, Antaryami, Super Soul, is the one who allows us to be able to visualize, to be able to hear what is there, to be able to taste anything, to be able to touch. This whole senses internally are controlled by him. So if we serve him through bhakti process, he will give us the ability to serve him. Because we independently, we don't even have the ability to serve him. That also must come from him. Practical message. Realization requires Shruti, Guru, and devotional hearing. Very important. This how this realization comes. Simply hearing. Okay? Hearing all about him through the Srimad Bhagavatam properly from self-realized souls. So you need to have a spiritual master and devotional hearing, not just passive hearing, but focused hearing. Supreme is intimately present in very act of seeing. So then we are able to see the deity of the Supreme Lord. Deity is not just deity. He is there. Supreme Lord is all spiritual. He comes into the material form to be able to, for us to see. Because spiritual things we cannot see. So even though deity is of material elements, but Supreme Being is there, present there. If you don't believe, don't have faith, then that's just a stone for you. The culmination is a personal, blissful, eternal relationship with him. Haribol. Thank you so much for your attention, Haribol. So I hope I've been able to transmit by his mercy the basic understanding, the way how I understood these 5 sutras, through this Chandogya Upanishad verse that you need to study well, be able to understand this particular Adhikarana 4. Haribol. Let's see, it's open for discussion now.
So wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, by your mercy.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, Prabhuji, as we are progressing, learning what is all about. Initially, it was not getting clear, but we see how it is explained, how to interpret. As we are progressing after class, I think it's more getting more and more clear, and I'm sure as we go progress, we'll have overall overall understanding how everything leads. Like he says, when Krishna says, "I am to be only known in everything," right?
Yeah.
So how we to see that? How nicely you also how with this given different five our sutras are integrated, and every act, as Sharad Prabhuji also mentioned, like eyes here mentioned, maybe the ear, maybe other senses also.
Yeah.
He only gives ability, right? So how we connect with him? He's everywhere, right? That is
Yes.
a very nice interpretation. And so we were initially idea was that sutras are not so intimately connected with the Lord, but we see all the sutras are intimately connected with the Lord. That is one
Exactly.
understand I'm
And there is
getting.
the
Thank you.
Srila Vyasadev's specialty.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
is
Thank you.
the incarnation of Lord Narayana.
It's not a jnana. It is a definitely
Yeah.
intimate connection. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you so much for a wonderful class,
Well,
bro.
right, Prabhu.
Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna. So, I mean, I was meditating on that one when you say that you are connecting your personal things to the sutra. That really more impacted. Basically, when you share the personal realization,
Yeah.
how you're going through all the stops and all, Prabhu. When you share that, it makes more of more connections to sutra. And I was just recently, just couple of months back, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, I hope you know Prabhu. So he was here in Sydney.
The internet is very famous.
Yeah, Prabhu. He was sharing that one, so he's one of the leg is not not working. So he was sharing that his realization when he was a very child, because the doctor gave some high doses, because of that he suffered through this paralysis. Uh, so then his mother was very upset, and the relatives and all talking all this stuff here and there. Then his mother said that, see, my Lord, this end of the day, the Lord's wish, we don't know what's going to happen. The Lord has taken the one leg from him, but in some other form, he might giving more than the what people don't have that one. That ability, Lord definitely he might give in future. That's what mother told to that relatives when this Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was in the child. Then he was realizing that definitely whatever the knowledge I got, it is more, compassionate. He's a spiritual scientist, He's realizing this way, and then I connected to your one eyes is not working. That's what when you say. So whatever happens in our life, it has a higher purpose, especially in a devotee's life.
Yeah.
So they always connect to the Lord's wish might be this way. Because of that, this happened. They will connect everything to the Lord's mission, Prabhu. Just I wanted to add this one to you.
See, by the second eye is also started affecting.
Affecting, yeah.
Eventually, I might lose if I live long enough, But now, going through this particular sutras, it gives me, because every one thing, notice that those who are blind or who cannot hear or cannot speak, there's some extra senses gives,
Yes.
that we ordinarily don't have that,
Yes, yes.
Krishna gives them some extra power,
Yes, but he was saying that one. I am not feeling anything. Something is not. No, this is not working. That's okay. Other things are working for me. No problem.
Yeah.
So that is what he was realizing. Then devotee becomes so. It really touches Prabhu. So that's what I always think of.
We have to have that
One.
firm faith, and the firm faith, basal faith should be there, but it will become strengthened by our bhakti process. And bhakti process is very simple, beginning with chanting Hare Krishna, hearing his pastimes, associating with the devotees. Process is very simple to given to us by Srila Prabhupada, which is originally given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Lord himself. He himself came as his own devotee to teach us how to render bhakti. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, so nice. So yeah, that is a. I mean, that is a fortunate that we are connected to the Mahaprabhu's mission. Otherwise, we don't know where we'll be wandering
He
in
came
this
as his own devotee really to
Yes.
demonstrate how
Yes.
to render bhakti. A very easy process he has given that everybody can do it.
Yes.
And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 decades.
Hmm.
In adding to this, Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
another
recent
star.
example, so wonderful devotee.
Hmm.
And he is doing so much preaching and everything.
You know that
Sanjay Prabhu?
Gurudev.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Just I'm every day getting the update from the Gurudev is in hospital right now. Japatak Swami
Oh.
Gurudev in the Dallas Prabhu. Basically, he's ICU. You know, a couple of days he was in ICU. He
Yeah.
was not consciousness also. Still, his clicker was clicking.
Yeah.
Was clicking. So
In
devotees were amazed.
consciousness.
Even in the dream, also, even one personal servant also saying that one. I was thinking that he was completely sleeping, but his clicker was always clicking. Then I said, Gurudev, sleep, sleep. Then he said that when hey, I am already sleeping. Why you are disturbing me? No, no, your clicker is okay. What it matters to me, you know. So let him chant. Let me chant now in the dream also. What it happened. So that's what he was sharing, Prabhu. Now in ICU also, he got one video. It is always the clickers were always clicking that one. No
Prabhupada,
consciousness.
Prabhupada, some of the comments that he said dictated while he was pretty much unconscious, final stages,
Yes.
And he was giving still advanced commentary.
Commentaries. Yes, Prabhu. I seen that video, Prabhu. Yes.
This is the
Guruji,
amazing thing.
even Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he is doing arti
Yeah.
while sleeping in
You
last
know, my,
stage.
my Guru Maharaj was in great in deity service,
Yes,
Every day he
Prabhuji.
used to, but literally 2 to 3 hours he would spend. He had so many
Shaligram, Shila.
Shaligram Shilas,
Hmm. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sanjeev
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
do you have any question points to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, so
Before I
wonderful.
turn it over to Sharad Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Donas Pranam Prabhu, peace. Yeah, so wonderful. And like it is so interesting to see that this Sri Govinda bhasya has this so unique language. Like when Prabhupada used to say that we should be interested only in reading bhakti literature, and he has given us Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavad Gita. But still, if you go further, like you're taking us so deep across so many books you have taken, this is so different, right? Like everything, like, okay, when you read this statement first, the person in the eye. So if you look at very, like, just at the sentence level, you might understand what it is. But then the sutra goes so deeply, there is explanation, and then you condense for us everything. It's like food for the intellect. It's a food for the
Yeah.
intellect how to understand this, how to go
But,
deep, and it challenges us, right?
Yeah.
So
But
okay,
still, this is also Govinda Bhashi is also about bhakti, also.
yeah, it is cool.
He is giving us, and you will see gradually Brahman, Paramatman, and finally we are going to see the Bhagwan portion of it.
Yeah.
Later sutras. But now I almost completed everything, So
Yeah.
I know the whole entire thing.
Nice. And also, I saw in one of your upcoming class, I think we covered that. Sorry, there is this mantra so aham. Yeah, we covered that in the last, right? That
Yeah.
I am he. It is interesting, Prabhu, that the art of living, the other guys, they gave this mantra. And when I was very early age, like 9, 10 years with my dad, so in our Sindhi, we had a very good, nice devotional saintly person. he gave us that diksha, but no rules, regulation, just chant this. That mantra was this Soham. So I'm so pleased to connect that, okay, this is actually coming from authorized,
Yes.
scripture. So I was very, to some time until college, I was very keen to chant. But yeah, the learning, coming back to today again, what we hear, person in I is Lord Sri Krishna, blissful, all pervading Supreme Lord, and he can be realized through bhakti. So we have to, as Prabhupada says again and again, we have to intensify our bhakti. That's a key takeaway.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sharad Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. You have explained so nicely. I hope everybody has understood that story of Satyakama, how this thing came up about the eye. I'll just repeat this story in an expanded form because a lot of time is there. We started the class with the eye. Now, what is being said, this person who is in the eye is the Supreme Lord, because he is described as being having fully transcendental bliss, and because it is given in the Upanishads, and he can't be anybody else because others don't permanently reside in the eye and don't possess the attributes which we have discussed during the class. Now I'll go through that story of Satyakama, which Prabhuji has nicely, beautifully covered.
I just briefly described, because of the
Yes, I'll give a little more.
Yeah, please.
Now, there was a poor boy who was born to a maid servant who doesn't know who is his father. And then he went to Gautama Rishi to ask for spiritual instructions. Now, the Guru is ordained in the Shastras, as the system is, he asked about his lineage, that is his father, about his gotra, and the boy in all honesty admitted that his mother also does not know who his father is. And then from this the Guru immediately understands that despite his low birth, Satyakama has the nature of a Brahmana. And since only a Brahmana could speak so honestly, and therefore he accepted him as a student. And Prabhupada, he says that anyone could become a Brahmana, just like Satyakama became a Brahmana by taking instructions from Gautama. Anybody can. Satyakama was the son of a prostitute. He was not a Brahmana's son, but he wanted to become a Brahmana. So he went to Gautama Muni. He said, please initiate me, I want to become a Brahmana. Sudras are not initiated, therefore Gautama Muni asked, what are you? Because I do not initiate who is not born of a Brahmana father. Go to your mother and ask her who is your father. So he came back and said, my mother does not know whose son I am. So Gautama Muni was very much pleased to hear the honest answer, and he accepted him as a disciple. Now he saw that he has got the Brahmanical qualification of truthfulness. And now, after being accepted by his Guru, Satyakama, what responsibility he received? He received taking care of 400 cows and bringing them back when the herd then that increased and became even 1,000. And during this time, he was instructed by Vayu in the form of a bull. He was instructed by Agni, who appeared as a sacrificial fire. He was instructed by Aditya, that is the sun god, as a swan. and he was instructed by prana, appearing as a bird. And they taught him to see Brahman in the four directions, from in everywhere in the different planetary system. And they said that the source of light, what is the source of light and what responsibility he has got. And when he comes back after several years, his guru, he noticed his effulgence and understands he has realized the Supreme Brahman. Now, when Satyakama describes how he has been instructed by the demigods, the teacher asked him to share his knowledge, what he has learned from them. And as we learned, Satyakama, he became a guru himself and accepts Upakosala as his student. And this boy serves him in the ashrama for 12 years. But Satyakama does not teach him anything. And he would depart on a trip. He would go away from the ashrama, come back, but he would not teach. Now that since the boy is very anxious to hear about the absolute truth and becomes free, he wanted to become free from birth and death. The fires themselves appear to him in their personified forms and instructed him, teaching him to see Brahman in prana as the source of life and unlimited happiness. They tell him that worshipping the sacrificial fire, as he was doing, he should meditate on the Brahman in the earth, fire, food, the sun, the water, the directions, constellations, moon, prana, ether, Swargaloka, lightning. Now see, he is telling them to meditate on these things and see the Supreme Lord. Now when Satyakama returns, the boy reveals to him the instructions he has received. And Satyakama then adds the final teaching to him. Now, what was the final teaching? He said, he who is seen within the eye is the Atma. He is immortal. He is Supreme Brahman. We are talking about Paramatma, the Supreme Lord. And because of his presence, if one sprinkles in the eye water or any other thing, it runs off, it does not remain here. And he is called the Sampad Dharma, the meaning is the indwelling self. He remains inside in the heart of the living beings, and he is the source of opulence, and he is the supreme destination, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. And anyone who can see him, all his desires will get fulfilled. Now these instructions the received from the fire gods taught Upasloka, Upakosala, to see the Supreme Lord everywhere in all material manifestations. But the final instruction aided by Satyakama taught him to see him inside his own heart and in the functions of not only the eye but all the senses. And this instruction revealed by the Upanishad teaches us to see the Lord everywhere. Not that we should see the Lord in the temple or where he is appearing in the deity form, but to see him in every thing the Lord has created, to see him everywhere. And the whole material manifestation, we should know the manifestation of the Supreme Lord. He is the material objects we see, and he is the light that allows us to see. He is the function of the senses that we allow to see. And the whole material experience is thus nothing more than partial manifestation of the Supreme Lord that we see at every moment in our life. Then ultimately, what this message or this passage teaches us, it teaches us to see the functions of the senses as the direct manifestation of the Lord and connect all our activities of seeing, touching, tasting, etc. with the service of the Lord. And when we see our body and the senses as our property, we automatically become inclined to use them for material enjoyment. But when we see both the body and the senses as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord, we see that they should be used only in His service, pure devotional service. That's why the teaching is we should get involved in pure devotional service, and we should not indulge in unnecessary material sense gratification, because the Lord has given us a little choice. We should not misuse them. We should use them as it is meant. And then only the Lord will be very, very happy. This is what is coming. And we saw at the end how all these verses, they are totally connected. They are connected. Nothing is disconnected. So this is the greatness of this Govinda bhasya, or the Vedanta Sutra, or the Brahma Sutra, which Vyasadeva has written for all of us, and Baladev Vidyabhushan has commented for us to understand it in simple terms. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me a chance to speak.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Anybody else wants to add some comments?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Such beautiful class. Such a beautiful class. I was just going to ask the question only, then how do we meditate after hearing all this? That Brahman is in the eye, Brahman is in the heart, he is the prana, he is the jyotis, he is the akash. How do we meditate? And Sharad Prabhuji just gave the answer. So nice. Thank you, Prabhu.
Another answer I could give you
So
also.
wonderful session.
Another answer is given in the message that is sent to gopis through Uddhavji. Gopis were feeling tremendous pain in separation from him when Lord went to Mathura. So through Uddhava, he sent a message called Swarsiki meditation. Do you remember that? What is Swarsiki meditation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is meditating in his personal form in terms of whatever the times the gopis spent with him, all the leelas, that you just meditate. So when in our case, whatever we hear in the Bhagavatam, all the leelas and everything that we are hearing, if we just keep manana, meditation on that, manana is meditation on that is called Swarasika meditation. Then Krishna says, by my own potency, I appear within his consciousness of that, and they don't feel that pain in separation from me. So that is one way. Another way of doing this meditation is to really, all this thing we have been hearing for all these years, entire Bhagavatam, all these different bhakti related scriptures that we read, Radha Tattva, Sri Radha Tattva, all many different courses, Mana Siksha, the 6 Sandarbhas, very, very important work done by Sri Jiva Goswami. The 6 Sandarbhas are extremely important, then Gopala Champu, all these different courses that we did. So many things for us to really meditate on that, So we don't really forget everything that we have been learning. And that way we can connect ourselves by personally connecting ourselves with the Lord, and Sri Radhe in the divine couple. Then our human birth is well worth, I feel fully satisfied. My human birth looks like it's well worth. Lord has given me so many opportunities in the last 3 decades. He sent devotees like, Sanjeev Prabhuji in my life. It's totally changed. There's another devotee who used to come in the beginning, but now he got himself busy in his own preaching activities. He's in Ahmedabad. That devotee really opened the path. When I went to Japan, on the day I landed, I became very sick. and I was looking for ISKCON temple actually. Then I found out there's a temple, there's a small temple, and I went to see that particular night in the evening, and I happened to spend a night with that particular devotee, and that completely changed. And he requested me that nobody comes here. When I told him about that, I had just finished doing my Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Sastri teaching courses and all that, and that's where I first, um, conducted Bhakti Shastri course. And many of the devotees were Japanese. They didn't know much English. So as I was speaking English, they were translating. Sanjeev Prabhuji, remember that how that Bhakti Shastri course we did that together? It was like that, So that was my
Yes,
first
Prabhuji.
experience, and everything changed since then. And at that time, I never imagined what we are now. I never imagined this online preaching that Sanjeev Prabhuji introduced me to here when I returned back to US. He said we can still do it by online. That time online technology was not as efficient as it is today. All the PowerPoint presentations were not there, So everything has happened by the Lord's arrangement. In devotee's life, Krishna personally takes charge. Yeah.
It's all your hard work, Prabhuji, and sincerity. That's all.
Right. So the time is up now. There are no more questions, comments. Is there any? Before we conclude the class with the national prayer, then we'll have a short meeting after this, okay? And I'll try to be brief as possible. So let's do the national prayer.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I do the Narsimha
Yeah,
prayers?
please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladaini. Praladaladaini. Hiranya Kashipurvaksha. Hiranyakashipurvakshah Shilatankanakalaye Nito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Nito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato yato yami tato Narsimha Yato yato yami tato Narsimha Bahi Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Bahi Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapati Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapati Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Tava Karakamala Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jayo Narsimhadev 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 Jaya Narsimhadev Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhu प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you, every one of you. So let's take a 5 minutes break and then we get back again here, okay, for the meeting. Anybody and everybody is welcome, okay? But it's primarily meant for my team meeting. But anybody else who wants to attend, please feel free, okay? Haribol. So let's take just 5 minutes so that stretch yourself and come back. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.